There's only one place that celebrated the United Nations' 80th birthday. Where was it? Right under Beijing. My name is Zinedine and I'm an exchange student in Peking University. In early October, I took line 4 of the Beijing subway when I went to visit the city center. I was surprised to see a familiar emblem, the world map seen from above with olive branches around it on a light blue background. The inside of the trains had been decorated to honor the 80th anniversary of the United Nations. No similar campaign had been carried out in any other place. I was quite curious about it and I started looking further. At the time, the Chinese government had just announced the Global Governance Initiative, a proposition by China to promote the building of a more just and equitable global governance system and work together for a community with a shared future for humanity. I looked up and on the roof were plastered the Sustainable Development Goals, colorful squares, each representing a path for a better future for everyone on Earth. You could see a light red square for no poverty, a gold one for zero hunger, or a dark green one for climate action. I was reminded on why I had come to study to China, the global fight against climate change. After declaring its war on pollution, China has made tremendous progress over the past decades toward that goal. This was one of the reasons of why I think the future of this fight hinges on the actions of China, whether we look at it at its economical weight or its environmental challenges. But let's take a deeper look at it. Why do I strongly believe the fight against climate change is important? Why are the next few years, as much as the last few, key for this fight? Finally, why do I believe China has the critical ability to help us navigate toward a better world? And what are the obstacles impeding this ability? Climate change threatens all of humanity. The IPCC, a United Nations panel of researchers looking at climate change, reported in its latest report that human activities, principally through emissions of greenhouse gases, have unequivocally caused global warming, with global surface temperature reaching 1.1 degrees higher compared to the latter half of the 19th century. Human activities do not refer exclusively to your daily life being the root of all evil. Instead, it is the path our economies have taken. Current and historical contributions to climate change are uneven in the world, as much as its effects are. Climate change threatens the whole world, but even more disproportionately the global south countries. It might lead to a higher rate of natural disaster, food insecurity, mass migration movements because of the unlivable conditions in some of our people's ancestral lands, and even more. Yet, there is still time for action, as bleak as it may look, and as the IPCC reminds us, international cooperation is one of the critical enablers for accelerated climate action. What factors allowed this issue to become so widespread? One of them, I stumbled upon it while browsing online, when I found research made by Benjamin Franta and colleagues. It could have been out of a movie. The researchers found out that corporations, such as the French Total, the American Exxon, and the Dutch Shell, knew internally about the catastrophic risks of climate change in the 70s and 80s. But for more than 55 years, these companies chose to hide it and purposefully create doubts. On top of that, our world is fragmented. International organization and international law are starting to be increasingly distrusted as the deficit in global governance continues to grow. After years of growth based on exploitation of other countries, capitalism is in a period of crisis, breeding instability and inequalities in the Western world. France, Japan, and United Kingdom suffer through governmental instability, and the Americans have budget shutdowns. But also outside of the Western world. The rise in racist, nationalistic, and corporatist rhetorics can be felt across the world, and it is a dangerous moment for all of us that was enabled by the same factors that led to the current climate crisis. In the meantime, the United States are slowly stepping back from international organizations, focusing back on the American continent. These are some of the causes to the current climate crisis and pillars of our unsustainable mode of development. As bleak as the picture I just painted may look, I want to act in this domain, and I'm betting on the future actions of China. To come back on the main topic, the Global Governance Initiative is a plan outlined by China to promote sovereign equality, international rule of law, multilateralism, following a people-centered approach, and with the goal of achieving real results. As mentioned earlier, it was first unveiled in September 2025, as I had just arrived in China for the 80th anniversary of the United Nations. In the short concept paper introducing the Global Governance Initiative, climate change is explicitly mentioned in the background and way forward parts. It is a crucial part of it. At the COP30, cooperation between India and China gave hope to the Global South for a way forward as they negotiated for more climate finances and fairer rules. A deal was also signed between the two Asian giants to expand clean energy trade. As climate change is going to push people of the Global South towards more cooperation and climate action, I believe that the future lies in cooperation between Africa, Asia, and Latin America, pushed forward by countries such as China. Countries such as Kenya, Morocco, Nigeria, Chile, Colombia, Brazil, or Indonesia are moving forward with more transparent and ambitious goals, while China pushes to export more in the clean energy domain. And in 2025, China published its first ever pledge to reduce emissions by 2035 compared to its peak, after crushing most of its past pledges such as lowering carbon intensity, wind and solar capacity, and forest stock volume. In early 2026, the 15th five-year plan will be announced in such a pivotal moment where major powers are turning against the fight against climate change or slowing down their progress. China can embrace a stronger role worldwide in that fight. I choose to come to study here because I believe in that role. I believe that learning Mandarin will help me in the future for that. I believe that my home countries of France and Algeria will someday also play a role alongside China. And finally, I strongly believe in the great unity of humanity to fight against climate change.